Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Maddie, and in this video I'm going to be giving you college advice, probably like specifically freshman college advice, but this is just about for anybody, I guess. I just finished my freshman year of college at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and I'm now transferring to Towson University in the fall. So yeah, this is definitely going to be some real good advice, especially because I have taken the things that I did wrong my freshman year, learned from them, and a lot of those things are part of the reason why I'm transferring. But yeah, I'm gonna give you my most honest and helpful advice that I can to you incoming freshmen, or I guess transfer students too, because this probably goes the same for you. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. You can also follow me on my social medias. They're all linked down below. But let's get started with all my helpful advice. The most obvious piece of advice that probably like everybody tells you is to like put yourself out there and go up to people. But it's literally true, especially at the beginning, like the first month, maybe 2 months. Literally everybody is trying to make friends. Everybody's new. They're all doing it. Like everybody who I met and who met me, like we all went up to each other and we're like, hey, can I sit here? Oh, hey, I'm Maddie, nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, the main thing that I know me and my roommate did was people will leave their doors open, and that's like a sign to like come in and introduce yourself. But we literally went around and knocked on people's doors and made a lot of friends that way. Not like a lot, but like you make connections, you follow those people on social media, you talk to them, get to know them, and then it's just a friendly face like in your dorm too. That way you know somebody else. But literally that's the biggest piece of advice. Like even in the dining hall, if I go and eat in the dining hall alone, people would be like, hey, like, could I sit with you? Or like, oh, are you eating alone? Like, do you want somebody to sit with? Or, oh, me and my friends are eating over there if you want to come sit with us. So nice. Everybody's so nice, especially at the beginning when they all like don't have friends. Everybody's trying to make these connections, following people on social media, like things like that. You'll start to make these connections slowly. Another thing is that your roommate doesn't have to be your best friend in the whole world. Me and my roommate were definitely good friends. I love her to death. She was so sweet. I didn't know who she was. We met on Instagram. Like that's kind of like when you first start meeting your roommates and stuff, or friends. You post on the Facebook and the Instagram, and then you comment or add them, and you're like, you know how it is when you have to like meet someone on Facebook and add their Instagram or Snapchat, and you're like, hey, I saw you're looking for a roommate, like blah blah, things like that. So me and my roommate were super close, but we never necessarily felt obligated to do everything together, which I think is good because you don't owe that person a friendship necessarily. So it's not like you have to feel forced to have a friend, but at the same time, like having that person as a friend, like if you are lonely and want to go eat lunch with somebody, like we would always be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the dining hall in like 20 minutes if you want to come. Or you making friends and your roommate making separate friends, you then expand your friend group, which is super nice. So I definitely recommend that. Like if your roommate's like, hey, me and some friends are going to get dinner, go with them, because then you're gonna meet your roommate's friends and then have more friends. You know what I mean? That's something I wish I did more. Was I would always go with my roommate when it was just her, like just her and like our shared friends, but whenever it was like her and her separate friends, I never really went, and I wish I did, because then I would have more connections. Another major thing is don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know my bestie is watching this right now, and we definitely struggled with that. Me and her became like inseparable, and us being like literally doing everything together led us to sometimes say no to doing things with other people, which then kind of led to them not necessarily inviting you anymore. So definitely have those super close friendships, but also still make sure you're going and hanging out with other people. That way, for example, I know a lot of people who had these super close friendships and friend groups, and then when their groups fell apart, they didn't have anybody. So make sure that you're still being nice to everybody, even when you start to get like your closer friendships. That way if something happens, or if you need something, that person needs something, you're still there for them. I think that's like super important. all your eggs are in one basket, then you're pretty much bound to be lonely at some point, because say your bestest friend goes home for the weekend, you have nothing to do. Or she has to go out with somebody else and she has plans with somebody else, you have nothing to do. You know what I mean? So just make sure that you are creating numerous friendships and numerous important connections, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure pretty much. And I'm not saying that's what happened to me, but definitely a little bit of it. Another big thing I would say is to make sure that you actually are attending like the school spirit events, because my school definitely struggles in the school spirit department. We don't have a football team. Even when me and my roommate went to a soccer game like the first week of school, and that's where I met two of my closest friends that I had all year. So and literally just by like talking to them, like they sat behind us and we just started a conversation. So going to those sporting events, or just like little activities that they throw, if they throw something in your dorm or in the quad, like go to those and make friends and just meet people. Like that's just how you meet people and make memories, you know what I mean? So definitely don't skip out on those because you think they're lame or like whatever. Another thing I learned is that it's okay to have friends for like different situations. Like you can have your friends that you just go out and party with, and you can have your friends that you study with and that you go to the dining hall with and that you hang out with. Like it's okay to be like, damn, this person really just is like a person that I go out with, because it's good to have people like that. Like it's good to have somebody where you're like, oh, I don't really have anything going on, I should see what they're doing and see if they want to go out with me, because not necessarily all of the friends that you have are gonna want to go out all the time or are gonna want to study all the time. So it's like making sure you balance your circle, I think, is very good. Another thing, this goes away from the friend part, use Rate My Professor. I got very lucky. I didn't use Rate My Professor, and I luckily loved all my professors. They were all great. But somebody like my best friend and my boyfriend, they both had the worst professors like ever. So it's important to make sure you're looking at Rate My Professor, especially if you're somebody who struggles with learning or likes to build a connection with your professor. Having somebody who's rated 2 stars on Rate My Professor is not going to be beneficial for you, because not only are they not going to be teaching you well, you're not going to be able to build a relationship with that person, and you're just going to struggle in their course because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, definitely use that. I highly recommend. Another thing is, you're now living on your own. Like you are fully your own boss. You don't have your parents. You are literally in charge of like waking up, doing your shit, going out. You're in charge of everything. So I think it's very important to prioritize doing your schoolwork earlier, if that's something you like to do. That way you can socialize later in the day. Like if I don't get my schoolwork done and then I have to finish it till 9 p.m. and all my friends, or like the people that I've been wanting to hang out with all week, then decide they're gonna go sit in the quad and hang out, or they're gonna go out to dinner, I can't because I didn't do my schoolwork. But if you're somebody who just like won't do your shit and then you're fine with going out and suffering the consequences on your grade, that's on you. I'm not one of those people. So I definitely like made sure to try to get my work done as early as possible, even as early as possible in the week that I could. I would get ahead like literally every week. It's my favorite thing to do. It made me feel so productive getting ahead. That way I was like, by the end of the week, I literally had nothing to do and I could enjoy my whole weekend and I could enjoy the back end of my week. And then towards the back end of my weekend, I could start doing work for the next week, so that way I was once again prepared for the week and already ahead. So that's just something I recommend doing and something that really worked for me. Let's talk about dorms. I got lucky because I was in the honors college, so my dorm, even though I did share a room, we did have like not necessarily communal bathrooms. There was like 6 individual bathrooms, probably shared around like 20 girls, but it was like stayed pretty clean because it was just 1 toilet and 1 shower and like a good amount of space, and there was like 5 or 6 of those per like 20 girls. And I got lucky because my little area was just girls, and then like across the hall was where the guys were, so I didn't have to share any bathrooms with any guys because that would have been gross. They don't know how to clean up after themselves. If you can get a suite, I recommend getting a suite. Like, why would you not want to have a private bathroom, a living space, things like that? And like a private room, low-key, like you get your own room. Why would you not do that? If you go to the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, or you're going to be going there in the fall, the dorms that I recommend are Sandpiper, Loggerhead, Pelican, what's the other one? Terrapin. I don't know if there's any suites for freshmen, but if you can, do that. Okay, my next piece of advice is to set boundaries for yourself. Make sure going in to college, you know what your goals are, you know what time you want to get things done by, you know what your ideal day and a week look like. That also being said, make sure you set boundaries with your roommate if you need to. Me and my roommate didn't really need to set any boundaries, but I definitely know that there are a lot of different scenarios and case scenarios, like if you're a clean freak or if you're kind of dirty, like whatever the case may be, make sure you communicate with your roommate, or if you need to communicate with your roommate about what time you go to bed, how much study time you need, how much quiet time, going on a phone call, like things like that. If you need to communicate with your roommate, definitely do it like ahead of time if you can, or just make sure you're having like open, honest conversations that are nice. It's important to remember that this is your roommate's first college experience too, so they're trying their best, you're trying their best. Let's get out there and have a positive experience. And I know not everybody's roommate is nice or perfect or easy to get along with, so I know everybody's case scenario is different. A car to college. Lucky for me, my Nana let me use her car kind of towards the end of first semester, I want to say. Up until now, I just bought the car off of her, which I'm so grateful for. And if you can't bring a car, don't worry about it. There's plenty of people who you'll meet who have a car. Like my first semester when I didn't have a car, like it wasn't a problem. I could still get everywhere I needed to go. Everything also is very close when it's off campus, so things should be walking distance. Or if you have a bike, I did bring a bike to college because my classes were just so tight together. Like I got it for Christmas and brought it for second semester, which was just super helpful. It made me get to and from class a lot faster, which I just absolutely loved. Definitely communicate with your roommate if you're each gonna bring a fridge or a microwave. Like we shared a fridge and a microwave, but I know a lot of people who each brought a mini fridge. That way they just had their own space and everything like that. Definitely buy a Brita probably, because our water at least was not clean, so making sure you guys communicate about things like that are very important. That way you just are on the same page and don't bring like two of everything. I think that's all the advice that I have for you all today. If you have any questions about freshman year of college or any advice, anything you want me to share with you all, feel free to leave questions and comments down below and I will answer them for you. I can even try to make a part 2 to this if you have, like I said, any other questions you want me to answer. But I hope this was helpful, and anybody who is about to be a freshman in college, enjoy it and prioritize yourself. Things are going to be great. This is a very exciting time in your life. I'm super excited for all of you who just graduated and who are going to be attending college. That also being said, anybody who's transferring like me in the fall or the spring, congrats. It's going to be great. I know you're stressed right now and I know it's going to be new territory, but it's just going to be a little bit like freshman year of college, and you already have that in the books, so you're ready to go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe down below. You can give this video a thumbs up, and you can follow all my social medias. They are going to be in the description box below, along with my Amazon storefront. And Goodreads. I like to read, so if you want to follow my Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, anything like that, it's down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Have an amazing day, night, or whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Deuces.